Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. 7:08, Wednesday, September 14th. 66 degrees, getting up to 89 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the radio, pep, and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are now joined by Nancy Kerr. She is an RN, MSN, CIC, all those things, and the manager of infection prevention at Ocean Medical Center. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I am living the dream, Nancy. Living the dream. Tell me a little about your area of expertise, infection prevention. What does all that mean?
We look at different initiatives and interventions that we can do to reduce the risk of people getting infections, whether it's products we use, different devices, antimicrobial agents, antibiotic utilization, vaccines, a multitude of things that we investigate and try to employ to reduce the risk of people being exposed to an infection.
Gotcha. So when you were in nursing school, was that what you were really excited about? You're like, I want to see how I could reduce infections. Was that your thing?
No, not at all, actually. I started in oncology. I went to critical care. I did employee health. I worked in IT for a while. And then I just landed in infection prevention about 21 years ago.
Oh, you just landed 21 years ago. Oh, okay. That's not bad. All right, cool. So wait, did you say IT, like you were in the IT department?
Yeah, we had developed a new computer system for patient information, and I was one of the nursing systems analysts for that, nursing informatics.
Wow. Wow. So that sounds like that was probably not one of the high points for you.
No, it was interesting, but definitely not something that, I would have ever expected that I would have gotten into.
Yeah.
But each one of those experiences, helped me in this role today. So it's.
Gotcha. All right. So let's talk more about the role today. So tell me how vaccines work in a body, because I don't really get it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen Osmosis Jones. So I think I have a good feel for how all that works. And I saw Inner Space. But why don't you tell me how vaccines really work?
Okay, I didn't see either one of those.
Oh, okay. Forget it then.
Sorry. So when your body's exposed to whether it's a virus or a bacteria, your immune system kicks in. And sometimes it can take several days for it to develop enough antibodies to prevent you from getting sick. So what vaccines do is they kind of imitate an infection. They then kickstart your immune system and you develop the antibodies a little bit quicker. So that next time when you're exposed to that same virus or bacteria, you have those antibodies and it's much quicker for your body to give you the protection it needs to fight off that infection.
Okay, cool.
And going to a long microbiology lesson, that's the long and the short of it.
No, that's good, because microbiology definitely would not work for me. So, so let me ask you this: if you were immunized as a child, does your immunization expire at some point?
It can with certain diseases. We're seeing now is kids that, and actually even a lot of the baby boomers got, let's say, one dose of the measles, mumps, and rubella, the MMR. We're seeing that weaken a little bit over time as we grow older, and the recommendation is that you do indeed get revaccinated. Because we've seen outbreaks of measles and mumps, locally, and it's because those persons, did get their childhood immunizations, but it waned over time, and they were susceptible.
Gotcha. Okay, so tell me the difference, because it's now it's upon us. We're on our way into flu season.
Yep.
So tell me the difference between the flu and a cold.
We are actually in flu season.
I know, that's what I meant. We're in flu season.
We had our first flu case in August.
Oh,
so,
really?
Definitely here. It starts earlier and earlier every year. So the difference between a cold and the flu, usually with the flu, you'll get a fever. Usually it's pretty high, like 102 or greater. Chills, cough. generally don't get a sore throat. You see that more with a cold. You'll get, runny or stuffy nose, which you can get with both. Muscle or body aches is more predominant with the flu. Fatigue, severe fatigue, which can last for, weeks with the flu. And some people, usually the kids, will develop vomiting and diarrhea. So usually the flu hits you very quickly, whereas the cold, you're not feeling well, it's been kind of brewing for, a couple of days, and then, you finally come down with all the symptoms. But the flu hits you really quickly and hard. And the thing about the flu is that you can be incubating the illness and be communicable or contagious for a day prior. So you could be feeling fine one day. The next day you have the flu, and you now could have spread it to everybody, the day before.
Right. And a flu can turn into pneumonia? Is that the way that works?
Yeah, people can develop a secondary pneumonia, usually the elderly and the young. So they're certainly more susceptible. And, flu and pneumonia, it's the 8th leading cause of death in the United States.
Oh.
A lot of cancers and things like that. So you can have up to 49,000 cases of death related to the flu and its complications.
Wow. Now, Nancy, you don't realize this, but we've just given you a pro bono job. Which I know is always exciting. That's like code for we don't pay you and you do more work. Where we want to give you it's a stretch assignment where we're going to also now hire you as a political consultant. So how long would you say that Hillary Clinton should really kind of rest before she gets back on the campaign trail if she had just a, quote, touch of pneumonia?
Oh, geez, it depends. Yeah, obviously, the more you push yourself, you got to let your body heal. And the more you push yourself and all the stressors, it's going to take that much longer to recoup. So sometimes it's better to, put more effort into resting in the beginning and then trying to push through and work through, and it'll just take you that much longer to recover.
Because next thing you know, you're collapsing and your shoes are falling off and the whole world is seeing it happen and it's not pretty, right? I mean, we know that. Okay. So flu season, so you threw me off because flu season, I thought, was only a couple months a year. But now you're telling me like there's an extended flu season. Is this true? When does this start? When does it go? When does it go?
Generally, in New Jersey, we peak around February. But what we're seeing, a few years ago with H1N1, we saw it happen in October. Last year was a really severe flu season for us, and we started with cases, like our first case at the end of September, and they would trickle in and off. But now, probably by end of December, January, it just went into high gear, and we had many more patients hospitalized with the flu last year than we have in as long as I can remember. So it definitely is not a seasonal illness anymore. We're seeing flu cases all year round. I think July was the only month we didn't have a flu case.
Wow. So with that being said, when is the right time to get a flu vaccine?
Generally, because the vaccine is seasonal, because what they look at is, what's circulating in the southern hemisphere, during our summer season, and they develop the vaccine based on what's predominantly circulating in the southern hemisphere, develop it for us. Usually it's ready by August. So you want to get vaccinated, early fall, so September, October, and then, and it takes a couple of weeks for your body to develop, as I mentioned before, those antibodies to provide protection. So you want to get it on board, certainly way before the flu season kicks into high gear.
Gotcha.
And it depends on, when, where you work and what your lifestyle is to determine, how soon you should get it. If you're exposed to a lot of people, do a lot of traveling, you want to get it earlier versus if you're, staying at home when your risk of exposure is not that great, then you can, wait a little bit longer.
Gotcha. Nancy, we're up against a break. When we come back, I'd like to talk about tetanus and whooping cough and other diseases of the 1800s, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. We'll be back after this.
Stay tuned for Preferred Company with Joel Markell and Marianne Levy at 8. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Get up, get out, do something. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160, 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. So we're talking to Nancy Kerr, Manager of Infection Prevention at Ocean Medical Center. And, of course, when we talk about infection, we have to talk about tetanus. So how frequently should an adult get a booster for tetanus?
Tetanus you should get every 10 years. And the recommendation now is that if you hadn't gotten a booster, the first revaccination you get for tetanus should also include, it's called Tdap. It's tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis.
Nice.
Is the whooping cough.
Right. So talk about that. Talk about that. That's actually the whooping cough. I never know what to say. Whatever. Whoop there it is. Is that like actually increasing? Are we seeing more than we've seen in the past?
Yeah, we are seeing a lot more whooping cough in the young. Kids usually get the vaccine, the first dose at 2 months, and then 4 months, and then 6 months. So they're really not fully immunized for the first 6 months of their life against whooping cough. And, there was a big decrease in parents getting their children vaccinated because the pertussis they were having, they thought, related to side effects and autism and things like that, which we know, is invalidated. So they opted not to get their children vaccinated. So here we have susceptible kids that if they're exposed to pertussis, that, they can develop severe complications and, death as well.
Which is bad. We don't want to, that's a real complication. We don't want to mess with that one.
Right.
And so at what age, first of all, what age should someone get a pneumonia vaccine? And then should everybody get a whooping cough vaccine?
Yeah, everyone definitely should get the tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis, the Tdap, as a booster. And then once you get that, as you're covered. You're fine. But then still, every 10 years, get just the routine tetanus.
Right.
As far as the pneumonia vaccines, persons over the age of 65, the CDC recommends getting. There's 2 types of pneumonia vaccines. It just came out with the 23 variant strain a few years ago. So they'll get you should get the pneumonia conjugate vaccine, the PCV13,
right.
First, and then a year later you get the 23 valent one.
Right.
If you've gotten one before the other, there's a whole schedule that your primary care physician can review your records and see which one you need and when. So age 65, definitely all persons should get the pneumonia vaccine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I hope somebody's taking records of this because I have no idea where I am, what I'm supposed to do, and now I'm worried. Now I'm worried, so I'm going to call my doctor up after this.
Yeah, it's important that if you get any of these vaccines, make sure you get a record of it so that you can keep track of it because a lot of times you don't know or people move and things like that.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you do have a record of, because these are preventable diseases that many people don't take advantage of,
right.
And it's an easy fix.
So when we come back, I want to talk about international travel because I'm going on a trip to Vegas in a few months, and what vaccines I need for that, and other fun stuff that have to do with infection prevention. Is that okay?
Sure.
Cool. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. You're going to listen to the Hometown View with Kevin Williams, where he's going to have a completely opposite opinion of me. So take that with a grain of salt because I'm obviously smarter. Back after this.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. 7:36 Wednesday, September 14th. 66 degrees, getting up to 89 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the radio pop app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160. To join the conversation, we are joined by Nancy Kerr. She is the manager of Infection Prevention and Ocean Medical Center. And as I was mentioning, I'm planning a trip to Vegas early next year, and so I want to talk about international travel. So there are vaccines that need to be considered. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, definitely. You need to. Actually, the CDC has a really great website on their cdc.gov/travel, and you can plug in where you're going. I don't think Las Vegas is on that list.
Oh, okay.
Some of the countries that you need to be considerate of, in the more developing countries, and you can plug in where you're going, how you're traveling, and they'll pull up, what vaccines you need, how soon you need to get them, if there's any travel notices. So with some of the, countries, especially in Southeast Asia and Latin America, and some portions of Africa, you have to worry about hepatitis A, typhoid, cholera, which can be spread through contaminated water or a person who may be ill with it and may be handling food, and then a person could develop either the bacteria or the virus that way.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I got confused because I know from my room, oftentimes I could see the Eiffel Tower. But that's maybe, I don't know. All right. So how soon before your travel date should you actually see your doctor to kind of get recommendations on what vaccinations you should get?
Generally, you want to do it, probably a month, because some you have to take, a few weeks before. But like I said, if somebody wants to go to the CDC website, their travel website, it'll tell you information on the vaccines and how soon you should get them. And it's a really great tool that's available on the web.
Right. And what types of beverages are safest to drink? Now, I know clearly, they say alcohol kills all, all viruses and everything. So I imagine that that's always, the right choice. But maybe is there things we should avoid?
Yeah, anything that is washed with tap or well water, you should avoid. So, fresh fruits and vegetables, you really shouldn't, if you can't wash them yourselves, like with bottled water or filtered water or water that's been boiled or treated, that's the safest. Be careful of unpasteurized milk because, we in the United States, everything's pasteurized. Right. However, certain countries, that's not the norm. So you need to be aware of, are these, milk products pasteurized or not? Definitely stay away from the well water. And foods that should be served at room, don't eat, raw meats or, rare meat. Make sure it's thoroughly cooked.
I love the fact that you told me I don't have to eat fruits and vegetables when I'm away on vacation internationally. That actually makes me very happy and gives me ample ammunition for against my wife.
It depends on where you go.
Oh no, well, I'm certainly going only to countries where I don't have to eat fruits and vegetables. All right, it's that time. Nancy, it is time for us to hand you the magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose and make an impact on the world or change something. Nancy Kerr, manager of Infection Prevention at Ocean Medical Center, what are you doing?
Well, I think, as I said, we're fortunate in the United States with these immunizations, and the availability. Everybody doesn't always take advantage of it. And, the rest of the world does not have that. So I think if we could, if everyone could have access to immunizations, clean water, we think it's kind of, a silly thing, but there's many parts of the world that do not have clean, potable water, and a lot of these diseases can be spread that way. So I think having access to just the basic simplicity of healthcare, clean water and vaccines, I think would certainly do a lot for the infectious diseases that we're seeing that, really should not happen.
Right. Very good. Nancy, can you one more time give us that website that folks could go and learn more and make sure that they got everything under control?
Sure, it's www.cdc.gov/travel.
Right. And of course, if you feel like you may have you're coughing, you can't figure out what's going on, you may have the flu, or you want to get a flu shot, or you may have pneumonia or something like that, of course, we would send you to Ocean Medical Center because we are so blessed to have such great hospitals here at the Jersey Shore. Right, Nancy?
Yes, we are.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Nancy Kerr, RN, MSN, CIC Manager, Infection Prevention at Ocean Medical Center, and political consultant for Hillary Clinton going forward. You have a fantastic day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin after this.